Forced me to take 2 weeks of unpaid time off. Have fun running the place without me. I used to work at this one coffee shop. My first chain coffee shop after working only at local or family-run ones. Simply put, it was hell. Owners would micromanage everything without knowing anything about how the business ran, never listened to their staff, and only cared about the money. Typical out-of-touch owners of a business. I was hired to replace a manager that had walked out of one of their locations, leaving it with only part-time staff. I was told I was being hired on as the acting manager, until they either hired someone else or they felt I would be a good fit for the position after my 6-month probation. I won't go into everything that went wrong because there's a lot, but to summarize, it was literal hell. I was expected to cover all no-shows, which had me working 90, 100 hours a week. I wasn't allowed to fire anyone no matter how many things they did wrong. Someone actually showed up to work drunk and I still wasn't allowed to fire them. And any changes I wanted to implement were shot down, like replacing old parts in the espresso machine, shortening our hours to save money on labor, bringing in items that customers would always ask for. I was stressed, overworked, and irritated as hell when the owner comes in to talk to me about sales for the store. We weren't making enough to warrant the hours I had scheduled, and he wasn't going to pay me any more overtime. I would only work the hours I'm scheduled, and if someone no-showed, I had to have someone else cover those shifts. I tried to explain to him that I only came in when no one else would cover. It just so happened that the people he allowed to continue to work here had terrible availability. Making the schedule was already hard enough. Getting someone other than myself to come in on their day off was next to impossible. On top of all that, I had to learn the ropes myself. There was no one to train me, so all the managerial knowledge, ordering, scheduling, I learned myself. No one other than me knew how to order coffee, had the numbers for the repair guys, anything other than making coffee and using the till. I was the only one that knew. He wasn't hearing any of it. Owner, all I'm hearing is excuses. This is your store. If you can't handle running it, I'll start looking for someone who will. Me. Wasn't that the plan, though? It's been 3 months since my probation period ended, and you never gave me the manager position, so I assumed you were looking for someone to take over. Owner. I think it's in your best interest to take some time off. Start thinking about your position here and whether you actually want to start moving up. I had mentioned in the interview I was looking forward to working my way up in the business. Me. I can't. There's no one to cover me. Owner. You're taking this time off. Me. Is this a paid break? Owner. No. Consider this a timeout for you to get yourself sorted. Take the 2 weeks to rest and we'll see what your position will be like when you get back. Me. Owner, I can't really afford to take that amount of time off. I can't even take 2 days without having to come in and cover. Owner. Don't worry about the business right now. It'll run without you. Now, to put into perspective, I was basically the manager at that point. I made the schedules, I did the orders, I knew the codes to the safe and the alarm. I wasn't allowed to hire someone to assist me, and no one worked enough time to be able to cover even half my shifts. I knew this, the staff knew this, customers knew it. I made sure to block all work numbers and spent those 2 weeks looking for another job. I managed to find one after a few days that paid significantly more. I sent my resignation email to payroll and the owner, knowing he never checks it, deleted my account off the POS system, being a manager means I have access to it from home, and spent the rest of the leave catching up on well-deserved sleep, having blocked all work numbers. I'm not getting paid, so I'm not working. According to my coworkers, shit started going wrong the next day. One of the openers didn't show, and the next staff member didn't have keys. Owner wasn't answering his phone, so they left a message. Owner didn't show up until one of the regulars called asking if the place was closed down. He showed up 4 hours after they were supposed to open. Orders weren't done, inventory was missed, 4 no-shows, you name it, it went wrong. Owner tried every way he could to get a hold of me, even using a customer's phone to call me. Too bad I didn't answer any calls that weren't in my contacts already. After 2 weeks, I turn my phone back on and get a call the same day from owner. We agree to meet the next day. Owner. So, you've had some time to think, me? I have. It's really given me perspective on my position here. Owner. We can start you back on your normal hours for now, and we're looking for a manager to take on more of your responsibilities. Me. Oh, that's good. I'm actually quitting. He was silent for a few minutes. I think he was waiting to tell him I was kidding. Sucks for you, buddy.
I'm serious. Me. I've already emailed payroll and removed my login from the computer. Here are my keys. Good luck. And I left. Owner tried calling me a few times, but stopped once I told him to check his email. I was on okay terms with some of the staff that worked there, and apparently majority of them had quit after I had left. Owner did find a replacement pretty quickly, but without anyone to train them, owner didn't know anything about running the business. They were F*****************************************************************************************************e from the get-go and left pretty soon after they were hired.
My petty ass is always checking reviews from customers and employees, and they have consistently sucked for the past year and seem to be on a downward trend over the past year. TLDR. Owner forces me to take 2 weeks unpaid leave, place goes to shit, and I take that time to find a better job. Land said job. Give my 2 weeks via email knowing he won't check it and quit the second my vacation is over. Edit. Holy shit, thank you everyone for the awards! I finally got to premium. Now my avatar gets a sweater. 3. This particular job I had was soul-crushing, and I'm lucky to have a story like this to share with others that have gone through similar shit. If someone is dealing with an owner similar to this, I highly recommend brushing up on your knowledge of your local labor laws. There are sadly way too many owners that try to get away with shit like this. To clarify a few things, I'm from Canada. Forcing me to take leave was not actually legal of him to do. I was tired and so worn down that I just didn't want to fight anymore. I took it as a gift of all the days off I missed from all the overtime I worked, and that was it. For those wondering about whether or not I'm owed overtime, thankfully I'm not. Another manager task I had was organizing hours and submitting them to payroll. Owners didn't have control over that. The managers, along with me, were in charge of that. There was a rule in place where we had to get approval from the person who made the schedules for overtime, and that was me. So I got paid my overtime. Thank you, F******. Even if I did have some money owed, I personally just want to leave it be. It was hard enough getting my last paycheck from them. I didn't want to put any more energy into these guys than I had to. Again, holy shit, thank you all. 3. I hope you're all doing all right with everything that's going on in the world right now and are taking no shit like this. Story 2. Owner says employees are replaceable. Great, replace a good chunk of your staff. So, about 2 years ago, I was working as an assistant manager at a small business, about 25 employees overall. I'd been there about 5.5 years, 3 as an entry-level position, and then as the business grew, the manager was getting overwhelmed, so they created the assistant manager position and put me in it. Now I was their jack of all trades, covering multiple positions in the business when needed, built and maintained a new website. Old one had not been updated in several years. Served as the entire IT department, got a new phone system installed along with replacing a major critical piece of equipment. DIY minor building updates, inventory management, distributor relationships, and more. Well, owner number 1 was fed up with owner number 2's BS. 01 was the responsible one that knew what was going, 102 was just along for the ride, and said either, sell me your half, or buy my half. Well, 02 ended up choosing to stay. A few staff left because, including the manager, while the rest of us braced for the disaster that was coming while we decided what to do. On to the malicious compliance.
As assistant manager, the staff had brought some concerns about quality and staff safety to me, so I brought them to the owner. The response I got was, I don't care about staff concerns, they are all replaceable anyways. I was also told to tell the staff they should no longer bring their concerns to me, but to the new manager, her hire that had been there 2 weeks and no one trusted yet. Well, I went home that night, shared the entire conversation with most of the staff, and typed up my 2 weeks' notice. Handbook said 4 weeks required, but I refused to work for her longer than 2 weeks more, and turned it in the next morning.
The fallout. So, in addition to losing me and everything I normally did, had also taken over scheduling since we were short-staffed and the new manager didn't know the staff yet and what we needed. Another 3. 4 people quit over the next month, leaving the owner overall with about 50% of the staff that place needed, and even at full staffing, we were barely managing. The website has not been touched since I left. Still has the old owner and other outdated information up. I have gotten multiple questions about where something was or how to do something because no one else knows how to run certain things. A number of their clients I know have left because things have been getting worse in their product. And overall, I give it a couple years before she has to sell or close because I can't imagine it is going to go well.